Hi, welcome back to the Worsted Willow Podcast. I'm Emma, and this is my little corner of YouTube where I share all of my knitting and crocheting makes and general life happenings. So, yeah, I have a lot of finished objects this week. It was really exciting because with it being the holidays, I had a lot of time off and got to make a lot of gifts and finish some things for myself. So I'm not feeling as overwhelmed by whips currently. But yeah, we'll just jump right into it. I'll start with what I'm wearing. So this is the Anne Sweater adult version by Melanie Roundtree of Roundtree Stitchery. And it is a test knit, actually my first test knit, and so I'm super excited to have it finished. I finished it on December 31st. I wore it for New Year's Eve, so it's technically my last finished object of 2022, which is really exciting. So happy I was able to get that done. But yeah, overall I absolutely love this project. It was a worsted weight sweater, so it knit up super quickly, and it was really fun to knit. I did have a little bit of issues with the sleeve. It took me 3 tries to get it right, but part of that was me not reading the directions correctly. And well, the first time I picked up the stitches weird, so there is like this little indent. I picked it up so that you could see the first leg of every stitch on the seam, and then it had like this weird line, and with having the poofy sleeves it looked a little bit weird, so I didn't like that, so I roped it out. And then the second time I thought I had done enough short rows, but given it was a test knit, there's a typo. I had downloaded the original and had to scroll back in chat to see what had changed. But that was my own fault. I remembered seeing something about it and just didn't think too much of it. So but it's all done and I love it. It's super cute. The puffs are adorable. I'm not usually a puffy sleeve person, but for some reason this sweater really spoke to me. So, and then I made mine cropped, and I also did waist shaping along here and vertical bust darts to better shape it to my dimensions. So, my measurements. That's what it is, not dimensions. That's weird. Anyways, so yeah, that is my first finished object of 2022, and I'm super excited with how it turned out. Or my last finished object of 2022. I don't think I finished anything for 2023 yet. I'm close, but I haven't finished anything. But we'll get into that. So, the next finished object that everyone's probably wondering about. Oh, first. This was in Malabrigo Rios in the colorway Sandbank. It's upside down and backwards, but it's whatever. So, that was the yarn I used. Now on to the finished object that everyone's probably wondering about. So, in my last podcast, it was just before Christmas. This one is just after New Year's. I talked about starting to make some mittens and the journey I was going on to try to finish them for my fiance's family in time for Christmas Eve. And I did end up finishing them, so I'll put a picture over here of the finished mittens. I got all 3 pairs done. I have about like a little under half a ball of yarn for each pair, which is really great, but I did end up finishing them, and they were very well received. They were worn immediately. It was like negative 20 degrees outside, so perfect timing for them. Now it's like 50 and raining, but at the moment it was perfect timing. And yeah, so very excited with that. I really like how they turned out. The bobbles were super easy, but also super cute to knit, so very happy. And I used Monostel Uruguay in the Maxima base for all of them. The pink were Peach Blossom. The purple was La Perla, and then the white was natural. So those were all of the yarns I used for those. And let that be a lesson to not leave your gift knits till the week before because you want to do projects for yourself. But yeah, anyways, on to the next gift knit, because this was the week of gift knits. And that is, these were not done in time for Christmas, but they were finished before New Year's, and they were a gift to my fiance, and that is the Bear Paw Socks. So for these, he really likes DK weight socks. He likes the thicker, more slipper-like feel, even for wearing in normal shoes. And I had made myself the DRK Everyday socks and really liked them. And since Andrea Mowry had just put out the Bear Paw sock pattern, I really wanted to try it out and see how it went. So I made these for him. He also I never made him any tall socks like this. I had only made him little ankle cut socks. So I wanted to make him some taller ones for the winter. I wanted to get them done before skiing, but that didn't happen. And that's okay. So for these ones, I actually held two yarns together, which is why it has that marled effect. One was like a black with some red and dark gray, and the other one was like a red with some light gray and black. So I think they marled really well together. I think they look very cool. But the brighter red color was Up North Yarns in its Very Plaid Today, and it's their 75/25 fingering weight sock base. And then the black one, I don't know how to pronounce this. I don't even know what it says exactly, but it's the Super Sock. It's all in German. Plain platinum color, and it is 75/25, but it's non-superwash, so it's virgin wool. And it is color 2318. So I really like how they turned out. I think the blend of superwash and virgin wool makes them feel slightly rustic, but not like overly rustic, which I really like. So yeah, so those were all of my finished objects. It felt really good to get all the gift knitting wrapped up. I love giving gifts. I don't like making gift knits, so it's always a struggle. And it was also very nice to get this test knit finished and wrapped up, so I don't have quite as many sweaters on the needles right now. But, and by not quite as many, I mean I have 3 instead of 4. But it's okay. On to whips. So my first whip, I actually didn't expect to get much done. I put it as like hibernation or like on pause in the last podcast, and I ended up getting a lot more done on it than I expected because I finished the gift knits a little bit earlier. Oh, I actually had one more finished object. I finished the Musselburgh for my sister, and that was using a Salber Ball Crazy fingering weight. I'll put a picture of it here as well. But I did finish that. Nothing too special about it. It was kind of fun to knit because it was a marled color changing yarn, so it got this really cool striping marled effect, which was fun. But I did finish that. Okay, now I'm done with finished objects. Just so many gift knits. So this sweater, I didn't expect to get as much done on it as I did, but I finished gift knits quicker than I thought and had a lot of time at our resort just like hanging out by the fireplace knitting. And that is my Alpenglow. And oh my gosh, it's looking so beautiful. Here, I'm gonna like stretch it out. So I finished the stranded color work, and I'm about 1 row away from starting the mosaic knitting. And it's all scrunched, but it looks gorgeous. I didn't realize, so I didn't gauge swatch for this, which already red flag there, but My stitches are fine from what I can tell, but my row gauge is a lot taller. And I don't know if I would have changed anything about that, even if I had gauge swatch, because I feel like stitches are much more important than row, because you can always add or change rows. It's the main issue would be the yoke, and I've been trying it on and keeping an eye on that. But the yoke at the recommended measurement was a little too short for me anyways, so I'm gonna just do the instructions and try it on again and see how that goes. But I also got these really cute little stitch stoppers that I put on here. They're from Fox and Pine, and these are the little white alpacas. And they're so cute, and I feel like they look really fun in this. Yeah, so my yarn for this, the gray and the white are both Movers and Makers yarn. I don't know what happened to my other label. But the white is Winter on Hoyne, and the gray is, oh, here it is. It's Flat Iron Gray. And then the color changing is the Zauberball Schopel Edition 3 in Tante Emma, which means Aunt Emma. And since my name is Emma, I was obligated to buy it. And then the purple mohair is Shibui Silk Cloud in the color Velvet. So, and this is actually 60% mohair, 40% silk. But Shibui is going out of business, and it's really sad. So yeah, this will actually be going on pause for a little bit officially now, which is fine. I'm pretty happy. Like, getting really close to done with the yoke is a pretty good stopping place. But I do have my next project, which is going to become my main big project, so this will be on hold until I wrap up that one. But it's all good. The Alpenglow is kind of a impulse cast on anyways, because of finding that yarn with the name Emma in it, so I didn't mean to cast on that sweater. But anyways, I'm actually going to go run and get something quick. Okay, I'm back. Sorry. I was about to talk about my next project, and I realized I left my gauge swatch in my living room. So, my next project, also very excited for. This is a new cast on. It is for my second test knit, which is the Good Willow Pullover by Intention Designs. Allison from Intention Designs is the designer. So I'm very excited. It is a all over cable with some color work on the front. And it's definitely got a lot of new like construction and design elements that I'm not used to. So that's been very interesting. I'm not super far into it, but just from the gauge swatch and from where I'm at, I feel like I'm already learning a lot. But the main reason is because it is mostly worked flat. So at least it is like you knit the back panel, then you come back and knit, pick up and knit the front panel, and then join, continue knitting the front panel, and then you join all the way around. So I've never started a sweater. I did satin sleeves for this, but this was the first time I did satin sleeves, so I also have to do that for this sweater. And it's just been very fun. But this is my gauge swatch for it so far, and I'm in love with this. This makes me feel like springtime is coming. So, and look, it's not purple. There's a hint of purple in it, but for the most part, it's not purple. So this was my gauge swatch, and the main reason I made this, besides it being a test knit, and I always want to make a gauge swatch if I'm test knitting, is the color work for this sweater is actually worked flat. And so I just wanted to do some rows of that to try to get a feel for what was going to work best for me for knitting color work flat. And I will say, it's very awkward. So I think what's going to work out best for me is to hold one strand continental, one strand English, and to work it that way. Which I do sometimes when I knit color work in the round if I have like a really long gap between stitches. But for the most part, I hold both strands continental. So yeah, it's gonna be real interesting. So it's beautiful. I love that. So I did the gauge swatch. Obviously, I got gauge on it, which is great. And I'll talk about the yarns first. So I haven't used all of them in where I'm actually at yet, but the main one is Yarn by Carol Feller in Nua, which is the sport weight base, and this is Unexpected Macaw. It's kind of a fun one, but it's this beautiful like heathered blue gray, and it is 60% merino, 20% yak, and 20% linen, which is such a weird blend of fibers, but I really like how it looks. And because of the linen, it doesn't feel super heavy, which I'm really excited about because I feel like this will be the perfect sweater going into spring. And then the other two yarns is, for the contrast color, it's a fingering held with a mohair, and I'm using Malabrigo Ultimate Sock in the color Gloria. And it looks like this. So the funny thing is, I bought these two yarns at the same time with no intention to use this color as my contrast color. I just bought this because it stood out to me and I was like, I want to make a pair of socks with that. But I got home and I was kind of looking at some of my scraps because you don't need a lot of it, and I was like, some of the ones I thought about using were like too bright with how dull of a blue this was or whatever. And then I was like, you know what? There's actually this blue in this yarn. I'm going to use this yarn. And then I'm holding it with some mohair from my Cargill. And that's kind of where you get this like toned down version of that Gloria, which I feel like pairs really well with the heathered blue. So yeah, I'm so excited to see like the full band of color work that'll be on the finished sweater. And the mohair is Surrey Stratus from Plymouth Yarns, and it is 68% Surrey alpaca, 32% nylon, and it's taupe is the color. So that is my sweater. Well, it's not where I'm at with the sweater. Where I'm at with the sweater is I just finished the back panel, and it's backwards. This is the back panel, so it'll like stretch out when you block it so that the ribbing doesn't cinch in on itself. It's meant so that you can see the pearls when it's flat. Look at that beautiful cable work design in that like lovely blue heathered color. I'm obsessed with it. So I'm going to be I'm going to put this on stoppers and grab a different cable and start picking up for the front of the sweater. I'm very excited about it. So yeah, that's my Good Willow pullover test knit, and I'll have a lot of photos and stories about my progress on it since I want to keep really up to date on this one. So follow me on Instagram if you want to see more of that. And then my last new cast on is one I've been wanting to do for a while, but I just never pulled the trigger on a mini set. And I think because of watching Vlogmases and seeing everyone's Advent projects this year, like I saw them last year, but I was just getting into the hobby, and this year I was like so far into the hobby and I still didn't have an Advent. I just bought a mini set finally. I finally caved and did it. and I'm so happy I did because I am obsessed with this project. Like, I'm as surprised I'm as far on the Good Willow testnet as I am because I feel like I've been working so much on this project that I shouldn't have as much time for that. So I am making the Juniper Cowl by Tony Lipsy of TL Yarn Crafts, and it's gorgeous. Look at this stitch. So it's a puff stitch cowl using a 10 color 25 gram mini set, and I forgot to take a picture of the fall mini set, so I'll see if I can find one and put it in here. But this is what I have left. So I'm on my 4th out of 10 colors right now, and these are the last colors left, so it's going to get really dark. It's from Koigu, and it is the Winter Local Yarn Star Day 2022 color palette. So the first color was like this white gray, the second was like this light pink, then I got this purple, and now I'm working with this like very multicolored but mostly blue color. Then I'm going to go into this teal, which I think this is my most looked forward to color in this set. Then into this darker teal, blue, purple. We're going to get even more blue. And it's going to be literally the brightest blue ever. Then purple, which is turning up a lot more black on my screen. So, and then actually into black. So, and then for the, so you choose one to do a crab stitch border, and I'm thinking of doing the dark purple on the top here to really contrast that white. That, or like one of these tealy colors, because I love them so much. Yeah, this has been a very meditative project. It feels super simple to work on, and I'm surprised by how much I like the puff stitch, because I've tried to do puff stitches before and I couldn't get into them as much. But I'm not sure if it's the yarn, my hook, being better at crochet than I was 6 months ago. Something about it is just so much easier to like do the actual stitch, and I'm having a lot of fun with this, and this is a project I've been eyeing for so long, so I'm so excited to be working on it. Oh, the other reason I was inspired to do this was because of the granny stripe blanket that I started, and I wanted something that had a very similar feel and like vibe to it, but that I could finish a lot sooner and actually use, since the granny stripe blanket I don't even have nearly enough yarn to finish it. So that was the other reason why I started this. So for this project, I've been using my prim hook, which typically had been my go-to crochet hook, but recently, after using my metal hooks and some other hooks, I realized that the like plastic on the head is really coarse, and it definitely catches a lot more, which can be a little bit annoying when working on a project for a long time. So I still love them. I just think you have to have the right yarn to use it with, and it definitely works better with like silkier yarns than with anything that would catch a lot. So yeah, that's it for my whips. Yeah, I'm definitely happy to have a lot more in hibernation or off the needles, because it was starting to get a little overwhelming for a moment there. So definitely happy with where I'm at now. For acquisitions, I kind of shared most of it. So I got the yarn for my Good Willow pullover, the yarn for my Juniper Cowl, the alpaca stitch stoppers, and I did get one other pair of stitch stoppers that I'll probably put on my Good Willow pullover. There's these cute little polar bears, and I just really love like detailing on their feet with the little like flowery design. So very excited. I've been looking for like really nice cute stitch markers, and I finally went to one of the largest yarn stores in the Chicagoland area, and they had a bunch, and it was super exciting. So And the other thing I got there, I actually didn't get any yarn at the store. It was a little overwhelming, but definitely have plans to go back and get yarn for some projects when I have them more in mind. It's a great store for getting like bulk mid-tier yarn like Barocco and Cascade, things like that, when I need to do a larger project. So definitely going to go back when I have a larger project in mind, but I could not think about casting on another sweater at this point. So I ended up getting the Lykke, I still don't know how to pronounce it, mini needle set. So it's the copper needles, and they are 3.5-inch needle tips, and they come with some shorter cables. And I got these because when I like to use my copper needles, I have a full set as well. So my set had a little baby. But when I'm starting a sweater, the needle lengths, I think I have the 5-inch needle there, and the cables aren't that short, so sometimes I just don't have enough space to cast on. So hopefully I can like cast on, maybe even do some sleeves depending on the sleeve width with these, just so I can use my beautiful copper needles for an entire project. So yeah. Well, the other reason you all showed up is the giveaway. So I do have the winners to announce for that. Thank you again so much for the support. It's been really fun watching all the comments come in. I saw so many great patterns that you all posted, and definitely got some ideas for myself for what to make next. But the winners are Sierra Mikolowski. I'm so sorry if I butcher your name. I am not good at pronunciation. She is wanting to make the Cargill sweater, so very excited. I also have that pattern, and I'm very looking forward to making it. And the other winner is Donna Lazier. Again, sorry about butchering names. And she wants to try the satin portage cowl. So congrats to our winners, and thank you again for everyone who commented on my last video. If you won, you can either DM me on Instagram or send me an email. I'll put my email address in the description box down below, and I will get your Ravelry information and reconfirm the pattern you want to be gifted to you. So congrats again. I did actually hit 300 after that video got posted, so very exciting. Yeah, so that's it for the knitting and podcast relating stuff. All that's left is life updates. So it feels like both like a lot happened and not too much happened. So there was a lot of holiday traveling and visiting family. We went both to Wisconsin and Michigan. Had some fun little hiccups as always with traveling. So we went to a wedding right before going to Wisconsin. It was on like the Thursday, and there was a huge snowstorm in the Midwest. I'm sure a lot of you guys were affected by it, but we ended up making it. It was not as bad in the Chicago area as we expected, and yeah, but then it was super cold and we didn't get to ski the rest of the weekend. And then we came back, we had another friend's thing, and that after that, we were driving home when I plugged my phone in to charge, and we started driving, and then all of a sudden we smelled like burning plastic and heard a sizzling noise, and I thought it was the car heater, so I turned that off. We get home, I try to unplug my phone, and the charger is melted into my phone. So we had to leave for Michigan the next day, and I had to go get a new phone in the morning. So I have a new phone now, and it's a burgundy color because what other color would I get? Actually, that was the only color they had of this phone, but I got the Galaxy S22 Ultra. So I'm not an Apple user. I do have a Mac and an iPad now, and I was thinking about getting an iPhone just because I had those, but I got trade-in value for my old Galaxy, so didn't want to switch off of that right now. But yes, so I got a new phone. It has a lot better camera, and it even has a stylus because it's such a freaking large phone. So that's fun. Oh, and when you take the stylus out, it asks you to like write a little sticky note, which is also kind of fun. But that was our main hiccup. But yeah, it was really nice. I had 11 days off of work and I had already finished my class, so I had just, besides seeing family, I had complete free time, which was so necessary. And I just got to sit and work on projects and enjoy the time off. I finished the 6th Bridgerton book. I've been slowly listening through all the audiobooks, and I finally finished the 6th one. I had a little trouble getting into it because it's pretty heavy at the beginning, but finally got through it. It was still a little weird to me, but I'll let you guys listen to it yourselves. And if you read it and want to talk about it, you can message me and we can talk about it. And then I'm also watching through New Girl. I had watched through most of it as it had come out, but there was like 2 or 3 seasons I had missed towards the end. So I was rewatching it, and I'm finally on the last season, and I only have 2 episodes left. I'm really sad to be almost done with it because it's such a funny show. But yeah, that's pretty much all that's going on in my life right now. So thank you for joining me, and last week I posted a video with my 2022 project wrap up, and next week I'll be talking about my making plans for 2023. So if you want to see what I'm planning to do, come join me then. And if you like this video, please leave a like down below and subscribe if you want to get notified about new videos.